Hey, what's up you guys? I'm Sarah Labrat and today we are doing my 2020 recap, and for part of that I'm going to be going back and re-watching and reacting to my 2020 goals video. So that's the plan today. I have already set my 2021 goals. That video will be linked down in the description box below. And I kind of made those goals without looking back on 2020 yet because 2020 had not finished. But now that it's over, I'm gonna go back and recap my year. So first things first, I'm gonna pull up my 2020 goals video and I'm going to react to it and kind of talk my way through it about how those goals changed, what I accomplished instead, and then if I want to add anything at the end after recapping that video, I will. Okay, so first things first, I posted this video on January 6th of 2020, so almost a full year ago, and it currently has 84 views. I went into January of last year, I think with 92 subscribers, and so right off the bat, that is really funny to see. I also just got an ad, which is really freaking cool because at this point in time last year, monetization was not on my mind because I thought I was so freaking far away from it, and now I've been monetized for about 6 months. That's crazy. I haven't even started the video yet because I have to watch the ad, but that's so cool.
Hey, what's up you guys? I'm Sarah Labrat and today we are talking about 2020 goals.
I remember that I filmed this video in my previous apartment as the sun was setting. This was an apartment that we never really decorated, which was kind of unfortunate because it was an absolutely stunning apartment. But on my pillar on the right side there, I do have my Project DE outline, which is when I tried outlining like J.K. Rowling. It is currently the video that is doing the best on my channel. And so I recently made a follow-up video to that where I tried outlining the rest of the series using that same method. And as like a very deeply rooted pantser, trying this plotting method I thought was going to be very, very difficult, and it was, but I found it to be so beneficial in helping me organize my thoughts that I think it was completely worth it.
Come up with a word to set my intentions for the year, and the word that I landed on was opportunity.
So that word opportunity has benefited me a lot through the past year, like a lot, and I will probably touch on that more later, but it has affected me so much and given me such a positive outlook that opportunity is remaining my word for the year of 2021.
Before we get to my big writing goal for 2020, I do have a couple others that I would like to cover relatively quickly. The first one being, I would really like to get a job this year.
I got a job, and then I recently quit that job. All good things, all good things. I started at a job in marketing in June after kind of struggling searching for a job because in January I was like fresh out of graduation. I had kind of like not started looking for jobs yet. And so when I did start looking for jobs, then the pandemic hit shortly thereafter. And so I didn't start my job until June, which was totally great. But then I worked that job for about 7 months before I put in my 2 weeks in December, and now I have finished that job and I will be starting a new job here in January soon.
My second goal for 2020 is I would like to...
As I'm rewatching this, I'm not cringing, but I'm realizing how much more comfortable in front of the camera I am now than I was, and that's on making videos twice a week.
I would like to leave my apartment every day. This does kind of link...
I really just said I wanted to leave my apartment every day. I was so young, so naive. Wow. That didn't happen, but I think that's pretty safe to say.
Okay, my biggest writing goal for 2020 is getting my Project DE to 350,000 words.
No. No. No, but in a good way. My goal for 2020 was to get my Project DE that was currently at about, I want to say 260,000 words, I might say that in just a second in the video, to 350,000 words because I thought I was writing the entire series instead of writing book 1 and then book 2 and then book 3. I thought I was doing it start to finish because I didn't know where the book breaks fell, and so I wanted to write it all out like that so that I could then figure out where each book break fell. But it was actually later that month in January last year that I figured out that I was like in the act of writing the end of book 1. Was not expecting that to happen, so I ended up writing the end of book 1, finishing book 1, the rough draft of book 1 at least, and then I got to print it out and go straight into rereading it, so that I could start draft 2 of developmental edits. And then I let it rest again in July, and then come August, I started rereading draft 2, and then in November, I want to say, I started the rewrite of draft 2 into draft 3 of my project DE. So this goal of reaching 350,000 words in this project definitely changed, and I think it changed for the better.
I'm already at 250,000 words. I just hit that the day after my graduation. I made a whole video about it.
Okay, that video is absolutely one of my favorites that I've ever made, just for myself to go back and watch. And it was where I graduated on one day, and then on the next day, I reached 250,000 words in my project DE. And so like that weekend is like one of the best of my life. It's just so full of pride in finishing those accomplishments for me that it's like one of my absolute favorite videos that I've ever made.
The project is bigger than I anticipated it being. I truly have no idea how long the entire thing is gonna be when it's done in its rough draft phase.
So now that I have had another year tucked under my belt, I think that I have come to pretty much a confident conclusion, but now I'm like worried that in the future I'm gonna realize that DE was not 3 books, but right now, I think that DE is going to be 3 books. When I started writing it, I thought it was going to be one 400 to 500 page book, and that was gonna be it. And let's just say it's kind of grown out of that box.
My goal is to give it to a couple of friends and beta readers so that they can give me feedback and advice.
So that also did not happen because my goal to hit 350,000 words shifted. I did not need beta readers to help me figure out where the first book should fall. Thankfully, I was able to figure that out on my own. But now in 2021, one of my goals is to get Project DE out to some beta readers.
In addition to my writing goals, I also have reading goals this year, which it's gonna sound low, and I know that. My goal is to read 12 books this year. However,
it was my goal to read 12 books. I did not read 12 books. I ended up reading a whole 3 books in 2020, and that happened in November and December. I read Never Split the Difference, Atomic Habits, and Den of Vipers. I started Kingdom of Ash, I started The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and I started The Priory of the Orange Tree, but I did not finish any of those 3. Those are books that I would like to finish in 2021, but Kingdom of Ash is like 989 pages or something. The Priory of the Orange Tree is another like 900 pages. And so after being in a very severe writing slump for a very long time, I think I'm still in a little bit of it, but it's getting better because I was able to finish 3 books this year. 2 of them were audiobooks. But now that I'm like starting to come out of that, the idea of a 900 page book is getting less and less intimidating, but it was way too intimidating for me to try and read those books when I was in a reading slump.
I have been an admirer of the Spartan race for about 6 years now, and I've never been able to do one.
The pandemic happened. In 2020, I actually did sign up for a Spartan Sprint. It was going to be relatively in my area. I think it was going to be like an hour and a half away from where I was living. And then the pandemic hit and they all got canceled. So we didn't do that.
I would like to make and put up 60 YouTube videos this year.
I wanted to make and put up 60 videos in 2020. That was my goal. It was 60 and not 52 because I thought I would have some weeks where I like wanted to put up 2 videos, and it turned out that those weeks were more often than not. I ended up posting exactly 90 videos on top of doing live streams. I think I did like 20 something live streams. Can actually look at that. I did 30 live streams this year. I did not think I had done that many. But the 90 videos was because I decided to start posting twice a week after I had graduated, and then I decided to start doing live streams, and so I put out way more content in 2020 than I was expecting to, and I'm really grateful that I did. So I forgot that I had ended up cutting out my subscriber goal for this video, and I remember why. I was terrified to say that my goal for the year was 500 subscribers because I didn't think I would hit it. I started the year with 91 subscribers. I thought that I would for sure get to 400, but 500 scared me. But then on December 31st, I was at 2,450 subscribers. So I truly underestimated where my channel was gonna go over the course of 2020. I think that part of it was right place at the right time. I had already kind of established myself on YouTube in the writing and author-tube space by the time that the pandemic hit, which is when a ton of my views shot up in April for Camp Nano. And I think that that really helped me was the timing in which I chose to start my YouTube channel and the timing in which I decided to commit myself to making 2 videos a week. And then on April 13th, I hit 500 subscribers, which had been my goal for the year. And then I was just kind of in awe because I didn't know then what would happen for the rest of the year because I had already hit that mark about 3.5 months into the year. So now that I've reacted to my 2020 goals video, I want to talk a little bit about some of the things that I accomplished in 2020. I moved in the middle of the pandemic, not really being able to look at apartments, and yet I was able to find one that I liked because I had already been familiar with it, but I moved cities within Texas, and that was really kind of tricky to figure out because I was in Minnesota when the pandemic hit and everything started getting locked down because I had gone to my sister's spring break with her and my dad, and then after that I was planning on coming up to Minnesota for like 3 days, and that's all I had packed for. And then I ended up being here for a month and a half before going back down to Texas to pack up my apartment and try and find someplace that I was gonna move to. And then I came back up here for another month and a half before I started my job that I started in about June. I participated in Camp Nano April, Camp Nano July, and then NaNoWriMo in November of 2020. I read 3 books like I mentioned earlier. My YouTube channel was approved for monetization on July 15th. I went and took a solo trip to a tiny house that I ended up using as a way to unplug for a night and just work on reading, and that's when I started reading Kingdom of Ash again and got like a solid chunk of my way into it and kind of got hooked, but had absolutely such an amazing time on that trip. In 2020, I ended up writing 128,509 words. That is amazing. That includes finishing draft 1 of DE. That includes my editing notes for the read through of draft 1. That includes my developmental edits and the things that I changed and added for the developmental edits of draft 2. That involves my draft 2 rereading notes. That includes my Camp NaNoWriMo July experience where I started drafting a brand new project. It was a Hades and Persephone retelling, and I just needed to start a new project so that I could express creativity differently by like starting a brand new project and putting those brand new words on the page. That 1/8 of a million words also included starting the rewrite of draft 3 of my project DE, as well as within like the last week of 2020 to start balancing DE with one of my side projects, a side project that I call CBH, which stands for Cyborg Bounty Hunter, which I recently made a video about that I will also make sure that I link down below. And I kind of made the video about like working on balancing these 2 projects, which is something that I want to do more in 2021 because somebody commented on that video and they said, for me, more is more. And I really want to try and see if that's also true for me because it seems like it would be so freaking cool to be working on so many projects at once if that continues to be beneficial for me and my writing. So I actually cut down my total words worked with from like writing, rewriting, and editing because for the month of September, which is when I was still working on the reread of my project DE, I said that I was going to be doing half mil wordy, and I started doing half mil wordy, and I counted those 45,270 words into my spreadsheet because I thought that I was going to be doing mil wordy, and kind of since then mil wordy has been seeming like a lot, but it was cool to like give myself that goal of writing 500,000 words in the year from September 2020 to September 2021, just because it really puts a heavy intention on writing, and that's the goal. Now I've kind of relaxed on that exact word count, but I do want to continue the intention of writing a lot and writing well. And so on top of some of these accomplishments, I know that 2020 was very hard for a lot of people, and if you were one of those people, I'm so sorry. I was very grateful to get a job in 2020 with everything happening, and I was even more grateful when I decided that that position was not what I wanted to do long term, that I was able to find another position and then leave that other position behind me. and I understand that a lot of other people were not in that position, and so I am very, very grateful that that's what happened to me. But I do want to leave this video on a good note, because overall, with a lot of bad things happening in 2020, I think that 2020 was ultimately very good, and I'm very grateful for a lot of the things that happened to me in 2020 in my personal life, not in the world. That was not good. Especially with this YouTube channel, I've met so many more writing friends. I have met so many people that now I get to talk to about writing, both on live streams, in the comments, on my videos, on Instagram, in like group chats and everything. I've met so many people that I love working with and writing with. I'm so excited and so grateful that I decided to start an AuthorTube channel. If you have been thinking about starting a YouTube channel or an AuthorTube channel or a writing channel or whatever you want to start, I highly recommend it. I did choose to celebrate my 1,000 subscriber mark with a video on all of my tips and tricks on the YouTube algorithm at that point in time. I'm sure it's changed a little bit, but the fundamentals are still very much in that video, which I will also link down below. But if you have been thinking about starting one, if 2020 taught me anything, it's go for what you want to do. And so if you want to start a YouTube channel, I highly recommend that. I am so grateful that I did. And so I just want to say thank you to every single one of the people that have joined me along this writing journey. And I'm so excited that I get to encourage you guys in your own writing journeys down in the comments and on Instagram and interacting with these videos. And I'm so freaking excited about the opportunities that 2020 presented and the opportunities that are going to continue into 2021. And I'm so looking forward to moving into that with you guys. So thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you so much for subscribing. It really means the world to me. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up because it really supports my channel. If you want to check out my 2021 goals video, I'm going to link it up here. But if you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up because it really supports my channel by telling the YouTube algorithm that you liked my video and that someone else might too. If you've made it this far in the video, please comment down below and tell me some of the good things that happened to you in 2020. And while you're down there, if you have not already, make sure you hit that big red subscribe button and that little notification bell so you get notified every time I upload a brand new video. I am currently posting videos twice a week, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Bye!